All right, good morning, folks. It's Bill Hurrelbrink and First 4 and 5 Meteorologist Savannah Tennyson joining you here on some of our streaming platforms this morning. Wanted to bring you an update on weather and traffic here across the metro. If you've been joining us here, you've seen a lot of us on TV this morning. We've seen a lot of big issues across the metro area because of this ice event that moved through overnight, something our First Warn weather team warned us about yesterday, and then it came through. It just seems like right at the right time, and it iced over right in the right spots here on these bridges and overpasses, Savannah. And it's just really brought a lot of havoc to the city here this morning. So I want to kind of hand it over to you to give us an update on our weather forecast here moving forward for the next little bit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so around 3 o'clock, that's when we started seeing all the incidents on the roadways. We only got about 2/100ths of an inch over at MCI for the last 6 hours, but you can see that caused a lot of chaos on the roadways this morning. I also have a few other places that I wanted to look at for that ice accumulation that happened throughout this morning. So a few locations like Lee Summit, Prairie Village, getting around 2/100ths of an inch as well. Oak Grove. Oh, misspelled that. I was in a rush, guys. Sorry about that. I'll change it. Around 1/10 of an inch of ice accumulation over in Platte County, close to the airport, around 0.12 inches. And then over in downtown Kansas City, around 0.04 of a tenth. Of course, whatever we got, it was just a really bad morning to be out on the roadways. That's for sure. So here's what it's going to be looking like as we head throughout today. You can see that we have maybe a little bit of fog, but I think most of that is actually mist. I did step outside and it is still freezing mist and freezing drizzling as we head throughout today. And that's because, well, first of all, we have a winter weather advisory because of the freezing rain, the freezing drizzle that we've been seeing all morning long. So this is going until 6 p.m. this evening. And those areas in the purple color, you can actually see that's where we're really anticipating most of our ice accumulation, whether it be maybe a trace or maybe whether it just be a little bit like we've seen over at the airport. So that's what we're anticipating for today. You can see that our visibility has been reduced for a lot of the area. And I want to talk about the visibility because our radar actually doesn't pick up the small particles of drizzle or mist because they're just too small. So this is what I relied on all morning long to get you through it, where we did have some mist, some drizzle. So around 2.5 miles here in Kansas City, you're starting to see south of I-70 deteriorating just a little bit, around 1 mile over in Clinton, 1.7 over in Warrensburg, and then 1.5 over in Garnett too. Now, as we head throughout today, I'm sure that's what a lot of people are going to be watching because the radar doesn't pick it up. So First Warn 5 weather day in effect because of the freezing drizzle, the freezing mist that's continuing to go on throughout today. We've already seen a light glaze to 1/10 of an inch in some locations, and we are watching a second wave of moisture as we head into this afternoon. You already saw we had a little bit of a lull between 7 and 9, and now it's starting to pick right back up. So that's what we're anticipating. Let me time this out for you. So this is brand new data. Just came in like 5 minutes ago. So it's a little bit different compared to what I saw earlier. This model is now saying that we are not going to be getting that band of freezing rain like over in Atchison, St. Joe, Cameron, and Chillicothe. However, we could have a little bit more popping up as we head into later on today. You see it's a very, very quick band that moves eastward. Then we'll also have those rain showers, especially south and east of Kansas City, where those temperatures are going to be warming up. So just a heads up to you, we could still have a messy roadway situation as we head into today. We already start to see that threat for light icing happening along I-70 and north. South of I-70, I think this is where the best chance for just rain is going to be. Those temperatures really already starting to warm up right now. We're sitting at 34 over in Clinton and 33 in Butler as well. Okay, so here's those current temperatures. I have actually a screen right here that I'm looking at. Okay, so 29 here in Kansas City right now, 28 over in Maryville, and 25 in Bethany. Now, as you're heading north along that Missouri-Iowa border, those temperatures are going to struggle to get above 32 degrees, meaning that anything that falls up there will probably be freezing rain, maybe a little bit of a wintry mix. So as we head throughout today, Those temperatures here in the metro will be warming up above that 32-degree mark by around 11, 12 o'clock, and then continuing to about 35 degrees as well. Will be topping out at 4 this afternoon. So if you have to get out on the roadways, make sure to take it extra slow, especially on those bridges, overpasses. Bill's going to get all into that. But the ice, you can't see it until you actually, brake, and then you can fill it with your car. And that is what is so dangerous. I was talking about donuts this morning. It's morning time. Of course, I'm talking about donuts, but it's like a glazed donut where you can't really see the ice until you're kind of in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that I noticed on my drive to work this morning was about, I think I left the house around 2:50, 3 o'clock. On 435, didn't see anything out of the normal. I saw they had put ice down on some of the side streets, the primary routes out of our neighborhood. As soon as I got on the interstate, I hit a little bit of a pothole or something. All of a sudden, my back end was like all over the place, and it was like I wasn't expecting it. So I think that could be kind of the issue too with drivers out there. They're just they're driving along just fine. And all of a sudden, they hit that patch of ice and they find themselves out of control real quickly. Sue, I want to go ahead and take you out to some of the roads around town. This is a live look over at I-70 where it has been just a mess out there this morning on portions of I-70, where right at this stretch here past the Truman Sports Complex on down towards 31st Street had been actually completely shut down earlier this morning, and it gave drivers some fits out there as well, as folks were trying to come in from portions of Independence or even further east in Blue Springs, and they just couldn't do it because the highway was not only closed here but also closed down the road at 40 Highway. It was closed down the road at 23rd Street and 18th Street, and in between the Jackson and the Britton curve. So just a lot of issues out there for that drivers had to face along I-70. And that, of course, wasn't the only interstate that was giving drivers trouble too. Also over on 470 in the Grandview Triangle, that's been giving drivers a lot of trouble. Even now, we've got a major interstate still closed into the downtown loop. Actually, I'm going to take that back. This may be the first truck that I've seen go north on I-35 in about the last 3 hours. This is right at that Southwest Boulevard West Penway exit. And if you've driven this, you know that is an incline to get up to the city. We're going to have to see if this truck can make it. And it looks like so far they are making it. So we're going to hopefully get that police cruiser out of the way, pull those cones, and we can get traffic moving again on northbound I-35. I want to go ahead and take you down to another scout camera just to the south of this. There was an earlier crash down near the Cambridge Circle. They've got that one wrapped up. Looks like a couple of heavy wreckers and trucks still on the scene, but that traffic is all waiting for that first truck to get up the hill there to see if they can continue on towards downtown. Still closed, we're watching, is westbound 670. That's the traffic that's going away from us right now. All that westbound 670 traffic looks to be taken down into the west bottoms down here off of Genesee Street or Wyoming. And then we're going to have to clear all of these cars here that either have called it quits or been involved in some sort of accident off of the interstate. Elsewhere, let's go down to the Grandview Triangle. Another big issue spot that we've been seeing across the metro this morning has been down here. Let's start with this camera here. This is going to be westbound 435, and look at that traffic, just not moving at all. We saw drivers trapped here for multiple hours trying to get going into the Grandview Triangle, and I think that's going to remain closed for quite a while as crews continue to work this, because look at what happens just to the west of there when you get into the heart of the triangle. They don't have the camera on it right now, but again, we've got more and more semi-trucks just not being able to make it, and they're stopping there in the triangle trying to get over to the shoulder areas. But again, a lot of interstate pavement just occupied by these stalled out semis and semis that have been involved in crashes. A couple of them getting picked up here. This is on the eastbound 435 ramp to either 71 Highway, as if you take that ramp there, or continue north on 435 to take that ramp. It's open, but there were several vehicles involved in this crash right here, and luckily they're finally getting some tow trucks out on the scene there so they can get that one cleaned up. Elsewhere, let's stay in the triangle real quick just to see if there's any other ones that we can show you. That's the one that was closed. Let's see what this one looks like real quick. Or let's not. Let's keep on looking. There was another stretch of closed pavement I wanted to let you know about. It's downtown. Southbound 71 was shut down at 670, and it looks like our scout camera system may have called it quits. We may have opened one too many scout cameras on them. Let's try one more time, because I know a lot of folks come off the Bond Bridge here on the east side of the downtown loop, and they try to get south, and right now you can't. You look down here, right at that 670, 71 interchange. Everybody's being pushed over onto westbound 670. You are not able to go south on 71 highway down towards Hospital Hill down that way. Everybody has to go, again, either east over towards I-70 towards the Paseo, or west on 670, where then you can go south on I-35 or continue west into portions of Kansas. I will take you over to our traffic maps real quick here. We can walk through a couple of these so you can kind of give an idea of just how traffic is moving. Several stretches, the traffic has improved. We're getting decent traffic flow through there, which indicates, near normal speeds. I don't think near normal is going to be the speed that you necessarily want here this morning, just given all of the issues that we're still seeing out there with the traffic conditions. So, again, this is a live look with our traffic maps right now. And again, just seeing a lot of issues still, especially towards the downtown loop, where you can count at least half a dozen crashes, with southbound 71 still being closed. Northbound I-35 still looked closed there as well in a couple of different spots. And also seeing some trouble westbound 670 as folks head out of town. If you're in the portions of Raytown, looks like 435 has a couple of crashes there near 350 Highway, and then some other spots as well. We'll take you back down towards the Grandview Triangle, which again, really jammed up all the way back past View High Drive. The northbound I-49 run does look a little bit better. We're not seeing delays all the way through Grandview anymore. Earlier today, that was jammed up all the way back through 150, and we were just seeing some big delays. Also, it looks like we've opened several of the ramps over in the 69 Highway 435 interchange on the Kansas side, so improving conditions there. But as Savannah was trying to tell us, we just got to wait for these temperatures to improve and get above freezing, and that's really going to help our conditions out there. Again, we'll bring you back to one of our scout cameras. This is just to the south of downtown via I-35, and you can see that they still have the police out there detouring everybody onto that Southwest Boulevard West Penway exit, not letting anybody get past, indicating that there's probably still some very slick conditions up on the east side of the downtown loop and the south side of the downtown loop. I do want to go over there to that Lewis and Clark Viaduct. Yeah, we're still seeing some crashes here. So the traffic going away from us right here, that's traffic coming out of downtown Kansas City, Missouri, and headed over towards Kansas City, Missouri. Looks like we got a couple cars got together there. There may be a car here that we can't see on the other side of this flyover ramp, where this traffic is having merged over to that right-hand lane, so that's giving us some additional delays there. And it looks like we've got a ramp closed here for eastbound I-70 traffic coming from downtown KCTV5 over to Kansas City, Missouri. You're going to be forced onto the north side of the downtown loop currently, because it looks like that semi-truck right there is blocking that ramp that takes you on to the west side of the downtown loop, which would be this area right here. Real quickly, I do want to take a look just at rest of the highways here, because I know everybody is tuning in from different spots across the metro. Showed you those couple of crashes here. This looks to be one maybe at Mission Road, Southwest Boulevard. It looks like they're moving the camera around right now, so hopefully they just cleared that one up. And it looks like conditions are doing much better here. That's the Mission Road exit right there. So like if you go up to Joe's Kansas City Barbecue off of I-35, you're going to exit there, go up Mission Road to that. But it looks like much improved conditions here on the main line of the interstate. Over on the west side of the loop, dealing with a multi-car crash over in portions of Edwardsville, although it looks like they may have cleared this up. Nope, that's not the case. You can still see it right there, northbound 435 at Wooden Road, so not too far from the Kansas River on the west side of the interstate loop is where we're dealing with that current crash right there. One other look, 71 Highway was also closed earlier just north of the Triangle. Better news there. It looks like they are starting to get that moving, so if you're getting in or out of town via the Broussard-Watkins and 71 Highway, improving conditions there as well. I want to go over to some of the Facebook comments that people are leaving, so I know a lot of you got some questions here. Bill says freezing drizzle or rain, worst parts of the metro and the worst part of winter. No, you're exactly right there. Streets are very slick. We are back to normal programming right now, Larry, so you can watch My KC Live here for the next 15 minutes before The Price is Right comes on at 10 o'clock, so you could go check that. Holly Ann says it's been absolutely a terrible weather in January and February, and that she's actually fallen because of some of the conditions out there, so we wish you the best. Hopefully you get to feel better soon here, Holly. Also, how is the road to the airport in North Kansas City? Well, let's go ahead and check that North Kansas City run. So far, it looked okay. I-29 out of downtown. Now, heads up, if you are downtown, some of the exits are still closed there, especially if you're trying to get out of downtown. Once you get up towards 169 Highway, which does look open, I haven't seen any issues across the Bond Bridge today. So if you're going north using 169 or I-35, I think you're going to be okay getting up to the airport. But let's go ahead and just check up on I-29 all the way to the airport. Looks like it's doing okay. Yeah, we can see traffic moving through that stretch. And just for giggles, we'll go ahead and check the departure board up at KCI just to see what that's looking like. I saw a flight delay in from Detroit earlier, but we'll go ahead and let that load up real quick here, and we'll give us a look at the delay board, the departure board on KCI when that loads up. Other questions, been stuck on 470 for 5 hours. Oh, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. I know our First 4 and 5 weather tracker was stuck on 470 for about 3.5 hours before they were able to get that area cleared. The Northland I-35 southbound Kearney to Liberty, that was running pretty slow, but last check it did look open, so just really stay safe about that. I didn't hear anything about this has been forecasted for days. Why weren't the roads treated? So both MoDOT and KDOT did tell us that these roads were pre-treated. The problem is, and with the weather that we got a little bit of rainfall before the temperatures really dropped. So unfortunately, that rain was able to wash some of the treatment off of the highway road surfaces, so thus nullifying its effectiveness out on the road. So unfortunately, just wasn't able to help out in the conditions like this today. All right, did get the flight board pulled up over at KCI. Let's go ahead and take a look at that to see how things are operating up there. So far, that's the arrivals. Let's take a look at our departures. Everything looks on time through 11 o'clock this morning, so great news there. And up through 1:30, it appears that the airport is running right on time, so great news for folks if they're headed up to catch a flight and maybe, I don't know, get somewhere warmer today, or maybe you're catching one of those flights down to New Orleans to get ready to see the Chiefs play in the Super Bowl on Sunday. It's one of the hard things you try to wrap your head around. You know, we're going to be in the 3rd Super Bowl in a year coming up in just a few days. But again, keeping our attention here at home, where we're just dealing with some very adverse weather with portions of the triangle still shut down this morning, especially westbound 470 traffic out of Lee Summit this morning. Really slow. A lot of people not even moving on portions of 470, with folks in the comment section here saying that they've been stuck on 470 for 5 hours. Billy, I'm so sorry to hear that. Hopefully they can get portions of that moving here soon, especially westbound. If you are on westbound, that's the one that's really taken a long time to clear. So if you can get off of the interstate, that would be great. It's still not clear. So, oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that, dude. Hopefully things clear up there soon. I can show you that they are working actively to try to clear a lot of those crashes down there with some of our cameras here. Let's go ahead and give you a look westbound 470. This is what Billy's talking about in his comments here on Facebook. Now, what I can see, all these flashing lights up here, those are going to be MoDOT crews that are hopefully putting some rock salt down on the roads. That's going to help lower the freezing temperature of the ice there. So hopefully that can help it thaw so we can get a lot of this traffic moving again. But I mean, folks who are sitting in this mess have literally been sitting on the highway for hours now, with one person here in our comment section saying it's been 5 hours since they've been sitting out on the highway, which, I mean, hopefully you got enough gas to keep going here after 5 hours. Also, right in the heart of the triangle, we'll take you over. This is going to be on the flyover ramp from eastbound 435 to northbound 435. They're clearing this up right now, but look, you got a KCPD vehicle facing the wrong way in traffic with a couple of flatbeds waiting to try to pick up some of these vehicles here. The good news, it looks like there is a heavy record down here in the bottom left-hand portion of your screen to be able to clear that up here in the next hopefully 15 to 20 minutes, but working is slow out on the ice because those crews want to be safe as well as they're dealing with that they're having to deal with. That camera looks frozen. There's way too much snow on the ground for that to be a current picture. Let's go ahead and look here just to the west of the triangle. The good news, at least, that I can tell from this picture here, once traffic gets off of the triangle here via westbound 435, it's back up and moving, and much improved conditions as you make your way over towards State Line Road. Earlier, there was a couple of crashes working over off of this stretch, but it looks like most of that has been picked up. Let's go ahead and take a look over here. This is near 435 in Antioch. Doggone, it looks like it stopped working, so we'll not be able to show you that one. But rest of the highways here are seeming to do a little bit better, and we're doing much better than we were here about a couple hours ago as we were finishing up the morning show. But again, a lot of the activity that's given drivers the biggest problems as we take you back over to the traffic maps here are going to be in the Grandview Triangle, where again you can see several ramps and lanes still closed there. Also, other big areas affected are going to be near downtown, where northbound I-35 has just reopened a little bit, but you can still see a couple of different crashes that drivers are having to deal with. Westbound 670 out of downtown continues to be closed, as is portions of I-70 out of downtown and 670. So I-70 very slow getting in from both sides, and then southbound 71 highway is closed there because of a crash just down the road. It looks like it's not quite to the Paseo, but maybe around 22nd Street there. So again, just exercise extreme caution if you do have to get out and about here this morning. Still dealing with lots of crashes out there on the interstates. We're going to step aside here for a few minutes. Savannah and I will be back on streaming here in about the next hour or so to bring you additional updates for what's going on out there, because I know a lot of people are either stuck on the highways right now or they're delaying their trips into work because of these road conditions. Again, it's really fascinating about how it's affected a lot of the area. We live out in western Wyandotte County. Our schools were not delayed at all. Our roads were pretty good for the most part until we got out onto the interstate, but once we got out onto the interstate, a lot of those roads really deteriorated quickly, especially excuse me, I've never sneezed on TV before, so that was a first. A lot of those roads really deteriorated quickly with the treatment that was put on yesterday being washed away by some of this rain that came through overnight. Albeit a gentle light rain, it still kind of rendered some of that treatment ineffective, and a lot of the bridges and overpasses are really where we saw those big problem spots out there. So the Grandview Triangle still experiencing a lot of issues. Some of those elevated surfaces in and out of downtown still seeing a lot of issues as well. So again, we're going to step aside. We'll continue to bring you coverage here in about the next half hour, 45 minutes here on all of our streaming platforms and on Facebook and KCTV5.com. We'll do that again at 10:30 and then bring you some more live reports coming up on KCTV5 News at noon from both here in Kansas City, out about on the roads. We'll get you an up-to-date weather forecast as well as some live reports down in New Orleans, because despite our weather today, we can't let it distract us from the fact the Kansas City Chiefs are playing in their third consecutive Super Bowl, and all eyes of the country are going to be on New Orleans here for the next several days as well. So, again, stepping aside for now, we'll be back here in just a little bit. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay warm, and take care of yourselves.